Today, we're going to show you how to use the Lilt Figma connector, which allows you to easily translate your design files directly in Figma. We'll show two translation examples. The first, using instant translation, which provides a machine-translated version of your design within seconds. And the second, using verified translation, which sends your designs to Lilt, where human linguists translate, review, and approve your newly localized designs before sending them back to your Figma instance. Let's get started in our Figma workspace. We want to instant translate this entire design. So I'm going to duplicate this page and quickly rename my design elements to help stay organized. Now I'm going to open the Lilt Figma connector by right-clicking in my workspace, hovering over Plugins, and selecting the Lilt Figma connector. When the connector opens, instant translation is selected as the default, so we'll leave that as is. Next, I'll enter my design source language, and then I'll choose a target language. And for this example, we'll just use the default translation memory. I'll now click Translate Selected, and we'll follow along with the notifications we see at the bottom of our Figma workspace. We see that the translation is complete, so we'll navigate to the Status tab. Here we see records of previous translations. You can access your last 30 translations right from the Status tab. To pull our new translation, I'll just hit the Update button in the top right. And there's our new translation. Because we use instant translation, our translated content is returned in seconds. With the stage already set to completed, we are able to import this right away. I'll just click Import, and our translated content is added directly into our design. Now let's do another example, and this time we'll use verified translation. Once again, I'll start by duplicating my source language design, and I'll quickly rename my files to stay organized. I'll then open the Figma connector, and this time instead of using instant translation, I'll select verified translation. Next, I'll enter my design source language, and I'll choose a target language. And for this example, we'll just use the default translation memory. I'll then click Translate Selected, and we'll follow along with the notifications we see at the bottom of our Figma workspace. We see that the import is complete, so we'll navigate to the Status tab. A quick update here, and there's our translation. Because we're using verified translation, we see that this translation stage is in progress. So let's head over to Lilt to see what happens behind the scenes. Here's the design that we sent from Figma for verified translation in Lilt. Normally, a Lilt translator would go through each segment of this document and translate each segment word by word with the assistance of machine translation suggestions. In the interest of time, we'll move through this translation quickly. Similarly, another human linguist would normally review and approve each translation, but for the sake of time, we'll omit the review process here. When our translation is complete, we'll navigate back to the Lilt project and update the project status to Done. Updating this project status automatically triggers the Lilt Figma connector and sends the translated content back to Figma. In Figma, we see that our translation stage has been updated from in progress to completed, and we can now import this translation directly into our design. And with that translation imported, we've completed our overview of the Lilt Figma connector, which allows you to easily translate your design files directly in Figma.